Now, if you've been watching Network Africa for a while now, you realize that we don't just tell you a story, we actually stay on it and see it through. For instance, we did tell you about the murder of albinos in Tanzania up until the president there declared war on witch doctors and who were involved in the process, and also got others who were involved arrested and prosecuted. Then we brought the story back to home here in Nigeria, where we spoke to the likes of the CEO of the Albino Foundation, Epelle, who's never had the privilege of voting because he is an albino, and like the others who he represents, he also suffers from visual impairment, and the harsh conditions of the sun during the election period doesn't make it any easier as albinos get burnt, some in the space of 10 minutes. Jake has been pushing for albinos to be properly accommodated during the elections by creating a conducive environment and for large prints to be provided for the 2 million albinos who are eligible to vote in Nigeria. He's tabled the matter to INEC, and he's also spoken to us on the show right here on Network Africa, and he also joins us live now from our Abuja studios. Jake, thank you so much for joining us again on Network Africa.
Good afternoon, Cynthia. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jake. I'd just like to hear from you the progress that's been made since the last time we had you on the show as regards the inclusion and accommodation of albinos in participating in the general elections.
Well, we continue to engage INEC. We did write to them, and even though I know they have a busy schedule, we haven't gotten a reply from them. But however, I had a singular honor and opportunity to engage the chairman at the town hall meeting, and I did ask him a question if he was going to include persons with albinism in the preference of voting condition. He did say yes, that we can be included, and even though he kept making comments like if we are visually impaired, I did also made it very clear to him that every person living with albinism has visual impairment. It may vary, but then all of us have visual impairment. So I would say yes, he said we can be included, and but the issue of magnifier, he didn't give me a clear-cut answer. But we've gone out of our way in the foundation to find little resources that can help us be part of the electoral process. And I came to the studio with a couple of them, apps that our members can download into their phone if they'll be allowed. But this is, Cynthia, this is exactly what I was telling INEC to purchase. This magnifier, for instance, if you look at, I did a dummy of what a ballot paper should look like with all the political parties. Now, sincerely, I cannot, even though I'm wearing glasses, I cannot see effectively and efficiently what I have written. But then, if you take the magnifier and put on this, you can see very easily that any visually impaired person can see without squinting. The effort we're making is not just for the albinos. We're talking about over 28 million Nigerians who are visually impaired. And every one of them will use this device easily without any assistance, you know. But however, it's important to state it clearly and to appeal to INEC and the federal government to come out with a much more clear position on the inclusion of the albinos in the preference voting condition, which includes tell us that we are not going to stand in the line just like every other person, because we get easily burnt. And those burns cumulatively result to skin cancer, you know. So he says, yes, we can have that. then I want to use this opportunity to tell every person living with albinism, when you go to the polling station, go straight to the security person. You don't need an ID to be seen as an albino. I mean, I am a true representation of a person living with albinism, and I'm very comfortable with it. So you can be easily seen. So go to the security personnel, go to the election staff, let them know that, listen, you have these challenges. Don't stand in the sun. They said to us they will provide shade. The shades will not help us, you know. So the best thing is to give us the preference voting condition, which allows us to go there, vote, and then go away. Please do not be part of any group that is involved in violence, because you will be putting yourself in harm's way. Yeah.
Jake, that's well said. I'd like to ask you, just for the sake of emphasis, what app that is which has helped, which you just demonstrated, that helps to magnify the prints. Which app is that you were talking about now?
Well, I hope I wouldn't incur the wrath of your commercial department.
Well, then I think we'll just have to put that, and then we'll put that out via our Twitter handle, which you'll see at the end of the program. But Jake, I'd like to say thank you for sharing your discovery with us, and hopefully everything goes as well as we anticipate it will, because I believe INEC has heard what you've been saying, and I believe you're working on it. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you. My love to the entire family of channels. You guys are doing exactly what you're established to do, and to reach out for the voiceless. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. That is Jake Epelle in our Abuja studio. He's telling us about an app which helps to magnify the prints that will be used by albinos during the election period, which is just about 10 days away. So it's very important to note that.